The fire crackled softly in the woods, sending flickers of orange light dancing against the dark trunks of the towering pines. She sat there, an alien woman, her form both familiar and otherworldly. Her skin shimmered faintly, as though tiny stars were embedded within it, and her eyes, larger than any human's, held a depth that seemed to stretch into galaxies. I had been watching her from a safe distance for hours, my breath fogging in the crisp night air. Curiosity and trepidation wrestled within me. She seemed peaceful, her long, slender fingers tracing patterns in the dirt beside the fire. The warmth of the flames reflected off her features, highlighting a strange beauty that defied earthly definitions. Finally, I decided to step closer. The forest floor crunched beneath my boots, and her head turned sharply in my direction. Her gaze locked onto mine, and I froze. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then, to my surprise, she tilted her head slightly and gestured for me to come closer. "Hello," I ventured, my voice trembling slightly. I'm not here to harm you." She studied me for a long moment before speaking. Her voice was melodic, like the hum of wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "I know. Your heart speaks louder than your words." Her response stunned me. It wasn't just the meaning of her words, but the way they resonated in my mind, as though she spoke directly to my thoughts. I took a cautious step forward, and then another, until I was standing just a few feet away from her. The firelight revealed more details. Her clothing was made of a material that shimmered like liquid silver, and her hair flowed down her back in a cascade of colors that shifted with every flicker of the flames. She extended her hand, palm up, inviting me to sit. I hesitated but eventually lowered myself onto the ground. "Why are you here?" I asked, unable to contain my curiosity. "To learn," she replied simply. "Your world holds many answers, yet you ask so few questions." I frowned, unsure what she meant. "What kind of answers?" She smiled, a gentle curve of her lips that held no malice. "Answers about connection, about existence. Your species is young, but filled with potential. I have watched you, and I see both hope and chaos." Her words carried a weight that settled over me like a heavy blanket. I glanced at the fire, its flames licking at the cool night air. "We were trying," I said quietly. "But it's not easy." "It never is," she replied. "But the path worth walking is rarely smooth." For hours we talked. Or rather, she spoke, and I listened. She shared fragments of her journey, glimpses of worlds and civilizations beyond my wildest imagination. Each word painted vivid images in my mind, leaving me in awe of the vastness of existence. She spoke of unity, of the interconnectedness of all life, and of the delicate balance that sustains it. As the night wore on, I felt a profound sense of humility. Here was a being who had traversed the stars, who had seen wonders I couldn't begin to comprehend, and yet she sat here with me, by a simple fire in the woods. When the first light of dawn began to filter through the trees, she rose gracefully to her feet. "It is time for me to go," she said, her voice tinged with a wistful note. "Will I see you again?" I asked, the thought of her departure filling me with a sudden ache. She looked at me, her luminous eyes softening. "Perhaps. But remember, you do not need me to find the answers you seek. They are all around you, waiting to be discovered." With that, she turned and walked into the woods. Her form shimmered briefly before vanishing altogether, leaving me alone by the dying fire. I sat there for a long time, the weight of her words settling into my soul. The world felt different now, as though it had expanded in ways I couldn't fully grasp. I rose and began the journey home, carrying with me the memory of the alien woman and the fire that had burned brightly in the woods, a beacon of connection in the vastness of the universe.